I'm Matt DeYoung. I'm a transcriber with BitLyrics on a volunteer basis. I've been active with BitLyrics now since December of 2023. I've really been in Bitcoin since about 2013.
And we have here with us.
Hey, I'm Paul Dyer. I'm also a transcriber for BitLyrics. It's a community-based project where we transcribe content from the internet, from conferences, but it's Bitcoin only. I got into Bitcoin much later than Matt. I was in 2020, so I'm still quite a noob here. But
was the pandemic the reason?
Actually, it was our post. Yeah, we're basically that's when I started really truly learning about it. So that's when I started sort of kind of beginning to delve deeper into the space. Yeah.
So we're here in the VIP lounge, and hope we'll do some more interviews. The reason why we're doing these interviews is with people, so the audience can basically learn a little bit more about what is Bitcoin, why you need to learn about Bitcoin, learn a little bit more about the money and the history of money and how to have the money work for you, vice versa, because we all struggle sometimes with just going linear. We have an expression in Albania, we say like you're walking like the horse, because they always put those things in the horse, you're just walking a certain way. But sometimes it's good to like basically go left and right and talk to multiple people, different experiences, different technologies out there to see like what will basically be the future, because the future is changing so quick. We have AI now and people are talking about AI like, oh my God, but they forget that Bitcoin has already been around for 15 years, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
So you cannot just like, is at the point right now that you cannot just say like, no, it's a scam, it's casino, because just on this conference alone, there's over 5,000 people. There's like so many countries that's already adopted Bitcoin, like in Madeira, in so many places we've been, we actually paid on Bitcoin. So it's not anymore like fake money as people used to say. It's not used anymore just for trading, but it's truly, I feel the only technology that we'll have when it comes to money. So I wanted to kind of like ask the guys here, like basically, what is Bitcoin? What has it changed in your life in a daily basis? How has it changed you and perspective around the world and money?
Well, Bitcoin in my day-to-day life has really lowered my time preference. It's allowed me to think more long-term than I was before I discovered Bitcoin. I see this difference happening across many of my friends. How I'm much more forward thinking about the future and my career and where I'm going. And it's also allowed me to tap into a community of many like-minded individuals. I'm from Michigan originally, and I care deeply about where I'm from. I think it's allowed me, Bitcoin specifically has allowed me to look at many issues that are happening in Michigan, in the Midwest, and think about them from a different perspective than I was able to before. That's how Bitcoin has changed my day-to-day life, is just the ability to think more long-term, and I see it as a superior savings vehicle, because there's no other asset like it in the world, as Michael Saylor likes to say, and there's a famous meme.
There is no second best.
No amount of property, no amount of farmland, no amount of forest land can stack up to even one Bitcoin. So
as you've watched the video so far, nobody has ever said to you to this point like buy Bitcoin or invest in Bitcoin, because nobody wants you to do anything. We're not giving basic financial advice. It's more about you learning, because once you learn, you can make your own decisions, and that's why all the community is about. Nobody like really says like, oh, how much have you invested, or invest or trade or sell it. Nobody talks about it, because the people that really understand the technology and what it will mean for our future, and when I say our future, like every single thing that is part of our future, like you mentioned farming, or if it's like a business, or if it's like the regular people, or even worse, and how this technology will help them. It's not anymore about investing or trading. So that's why nobody really talks about it, because it's not up to us or anyone to tell you what to do with your financial. We're not even financial advisors. But I wanted to also ask you, like, for people that are skeptical, people that maybe like all they know about Bitcoin is like trading and casino money and gambling, because that's how some people use it.
Yes.
Like, what do you tell to them, like the skeptics?
So it's for me, even in my day-to-day job, with environmental work, the environmental work that I do, I always have to meet people where they are at, and if they are not asking me directly about Bitcoin, they typically will have no interest. But what I do if I see somebody who is complaining a lot about inflation or complaining a lot about the struggles of running a business, that to me is an opportunity for me to step in and say, well, I think that there might be some other way that we can look at these problems, and how I would view these problems if I was in your shoes might be helped out with owning Bitcoin, which is a great inflation hedge. It's a great savings vehicle, again, getting back to that point, and it really extends your ability to own a business. You can now think out 10 years, 15 years, where before you might have only been able to think out 1 or 3 years. So those are some important points. It's really just about meeting people where they are. Everyone's at a different place.
Right?
Exactly. Because truth be told, you have to arrive at these points by yourself. You really do. Just as I arrived over the process of 10 years, I have a long history of like learning libertarian ideas and studying Austrian economics and struggling to buy Bitcoin and buying S coins, as I call them, and now I've arrived at Bitcoin only, and I'm here amongst the community of people, the global Bitcoin community, and seeing what's happening with everyone and hearing all of the stories. And frankly, we are unstoppable. There's no way this can be stopped.
So a lot of comments that I've received when I even mentioned the word Bitcoin, other than the trading and the scamming and all that, people say well, as long as it's not regulated by the banks, it doesn't exist. So it's not regulated. The banks are not you're not able to, let's say, use Bitcoin the same how you use your money. So I guess what do you say to that?
That's a good point, and I think that it's a good point because Bitcoin on the surface is a financial asset. It was within the first couple of lines of the Bitcoin white paper described as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And after years of discovery, I have really drilled down to understand that Bitcoin is much more than just a financial asset. It works great to protect our money, but it also works great to protect our property rights. And as an American, that's something that I hold very, very near and dear to my heart. I'm a millennial. I feel as though I've been robbed the opportunity to own a home. I make a decent salary, and I just see the cost of housing has gone through the roof. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is still continuing to grow, and this adoption cycle is expanding ever more each year. So I'm not sure if I addressed your question.
No, I know what you mean. I guess what people probably is asking is can banks actually ban Bitcoin? Is something that is even doable at this point?
I think not. Bitcoin is the largest computational network in the world, by power usage and by hash rate. So to stand in front of that wall of computers and say that the legacy banking system has any power here it just doesn't add up to me. It's not a logical series of thoughts that I can make. But this is somebody who's been in Bitcoin and understands the ideals taught by Austrian economists for hundreds of years. And I think the legacy financial institution will only come into roadblocks as they try to regulate, as they try to control their customers from demanding Bitcoin. And we've now seen the ETFs launch, the spot Bitcoin ETFs. There's 11 of them. And these institutions are beholden to their shareholders, beholden to the people who vote with their money. And if people continue to vote with their money and move from, let's say, Vanguard over to Schwab, they will affect change on the Bitcoin network in that way by voting with their feet, voting with their money.
And how has changed your life daily?
So, in so many ways. Lengthened my time horizon. It's changed my whole ethos on saving. Never really saved money, particularly as a young lad growing up. I was fortunate to buy a house. I've got a mortgage. I just continue to be hassled by debt, essentially, and Bitcoin has really enabled me to save money and actually to be able to live a life, to travel, to enjoy things, as opposed to just work on the treadmill.
Positive.
Yeah. So,
I love that. Tell me a little bit more about Bialczak.co.
yeah, so Bialczak is a community-based project of Bitcoiners only that are really coming together to help orange pill the world, basically. What does that mean? That basically means educate the world in terms of Bitcoin. For some of your viewers, maybe sort of a little bit scared of getting into Bitcoin because they don't really understand the sort of kind of the funny internet money. And so Bialczak is really, the main goal is to help them overcome that kind of fear, that initial friction, if you like, in terms of getting into Bitcoin. And what we do is we transcribe content at conferences like today and like Bitcoin Atlantis, to really sort of kind of condense the material into something that's more readable, whilst also providing links.
Everybody benefits from Bitcoin. They might not know it, but they do benefit. Why do they benefit? Because the story of civilization is about purging toxicity from our systems.